Hello friends, welcome to yet another Agile session. So today we are going to discuss about another powerful Agile methodologies, Kanban. So today we'll be looking into the overall how the Kanban methodology is structured, how you can best utilize for your respective projects, and what are the benefits out of it. Right? Unlike Scrum, this is not a fully prescribed model. So we'll see, right, case to case basis how we can actually optimize or customize these methodologies. So without any further delay, let's get started. Okay, so let us get started. So first and foremost, welcome to the presentation of Kanban methodologies. So today we are going to explore, right, what is Kanban methodologies, how you can best utilize for streamlining your workflow and achieving the continuous improvement, right? So this is just demonstrating a basic Kanban board. So let's get started. Okay. So first and foremost, let us try to understand what is Kanban. So basically, Kanban, this particular term came from a Japanese word, right, which means basically a visualization board, right, or a signboard, basically, through which you can actually see your complete workflow, how you are getting started, where you are stuck, where you are actually engaging more time, and and through this visualization it will help to take the corrective decisions, right, what you can do best to keep the flow going. Okay, so basically this is the Kanban methodology. So Kanban is a visualization framework used to manage work as it moves through the process, right? So preliminary, at its initial days, actually it invented from a manufacturing industry, to be very precise, from the automobile industry. Basically it came up. Then the benefit of Kanban is so vast that we can utilize in any industry, in our IT world or information technology, or the software world also. It is one of the very powerful methodologies that we often use. Okay, so before going into more details, like, let us first try to understand the principle of Kanbans. Okay, so unlike Scrum, actually, the Kanban principles are more towards achieving the goals, actually, right? And it's actually more practical. So let us see what are the principles. So these are the principle, actually, you can outline from the Kanban methodologies, right? So first principle is talking about the visualization of the workflow, which I already talked about. So Kanban, the basic of Kanban, you have to have a Kanban board, and it represents the entire workflow with different stage of your development, and you can visualize the work item, how it is traversing through the flow. Okay, then limit your work in progress. Okay, so let's say you have a workflow of 3 stages. Let's say, to do, in progress, done. In any of the stages, I'm just taking a very simple workflow example. So in to do, in progress, and done. So limit workflow means you limit work in progress means basically in any of the workflow segment, right? One part, you cannot have more than this many items, right? Let's say you are starting with 5 piece of work, right? And your target is to complete it within 2 weeks or 3 weeks, right? Now in a particular segment, let's say in progress segment, you are seeing that 5 item or 4 item are actually stuck, right? Then there is obviously some problem there. And if you try to move more items there, right, eventually what will happen, it will crash, it will not work, right? So first thing is, you need to define the work in progress limit, or the WIP limit of a particular segment. Okay, that means in the swim lane you cannot have more than 3 items, right? And if you are seeing that this 3 item is actually sitting there for more than certain period of time, then you need to take some corrective action, or you need to put more focus on this. And there comes the next principle into picture, right? That managing flow. So basically, through the work in progress limit, basically you encourage a smooth and continuous flow. Wherever you are seeing that work in progress or WIP limit has been reached, right? There, then and there you basically take some corrective action so that you can actually have the flow back again, right? And at the beginning only you make the process and policies explicitly defined. So there is, I mean, as I mentioned, like unlike Scrum, there are no it's not hard bound roles or response, I mean, roles are there, or no prescriptive roles are there, but based on your need or your situation, you can actually define certain role that you need to have in your project, and you'll clearly define the roles and responsibilities of certain those roles, and you'll give them autonomy, right, so that actually they can carry forward their work, keeping in mind work in progress, right? Then improve collaboratively. So basically continuous evolve and improve process through the collaboration and feedback. It is like any other agile methodologies. This is the basic of agile, right? The feedback methodologies, like wherever you are stuck, wherever something is going wrong, you need the collaboration, you need to have the feedback mechanism in place, right, so that you can actually get to know, right, what went wrong, and you can take the corrective action, so that in your next flow or next line item that you are picking in, so that particular I mean mistakes, or that particular uh, erroneous process will not come into picture, and you will have a continuous flow in place, and thus you'll keep on improving. Okay, now let us see the key components of Kanban, right? So you just need to keep in mind. So these are the key components, right, of Kanban. First and foremost, as I mentioned, Kanban board. You have to have a well-defined Kanban board with all the workflow segments, right, that you need for your project, right? You can there can be four segments or four swim lane required for your project. Other project may require five or six. It is not, I mean, Kanban is not prescripting or suggesting you that you have to have these many workflow items or anything, right? But based on your need, you can customize your board. But at the end of the day, you have to have a visual board where you can see the entire workflow of all the work items, right? Then comes the work items. Work items is basically the smallest piece of work that one individual will pick up from backlog and carry forward throughout the life cycle, and make it complete. So that can be a task, that can be a user story or feature represented by the cards in the Kanban board, right? Then whip limits we actually talked about in our previous slides only, right? That you have to have in any particular workflow stage or segments, right? You need to define a whip limit that more than this many cards cannot reside in a particular time frame, right? Then there are two key components or key metrics actually come into picture. One is cycle time, one is lead time. Often we actually I mean misinterpret what is cycle time, what is lead time. It's very simple, right? Cycle time is you can have, let's say, 10 line items in your work list or backlog, right? Let's say all those there are 10 line items actually like created, let's say on January 1st, right? But out of that, you are picking up one particular item, let's say on January 5th, and you are completing that item on January 7th. Okay, so the items were created or reported on January 1st, but you picked the item on January 5th and completing on January 7th. So in that case, your cycle time will be 2 days. That means on January 5th you are picking up and completing on January 7th. And lead time is basically the time from when the item gets reported actually. That means from January 1st to January 7th, that means 7 days. So this is the difference between lead time and cycle time. Now let us see some of the key metrics, right, which you can actually use for your project, and keep on monitoring your work progress, and take the corrective decision. The way I look at into the metrics, right, this is not just a reporting tool, right? Metrics are something which actually give you the current state picture, and using which you can actually take some corrective decisions, right? And that is the way actually everyone should look into the metrics, rather than often I see, right, some projects or some industries are actually taking metrics as a I mean reporting tool and kind of penalization tool, right? Okay, your this metrics is bad, so you are not capable. Not like that. We need to identify why the metrics are bad, right? And we need to do the brainstorming. So our job is not to identify the metrics. Based on the metrics, we need to basically keep on doing the brainstorming. We need to figure out, we need to question, right? We need to apply the 5 whys. In one of my previous sessions, right, I have talked about the 5 whys methodologies and all, right? So based on these metrics, you actually you have further jobs in your hand to do further analysis of the metrics, to come up with the root cause analysis and take the corrective action. Okay, so nevertheless, let's come back to the discussion again. So there are certain Kanban metrics which you can actually use for your project. So cycle time and lead time, which I already talked about. Okay, I mean cycle time is the time from when you are actually starting the project and completing. Let's say this line item was actually kind of started on in this time frame, but you have actually picked up the work in this time frame and completed. So your cycle time is this, which I talked about in my previous slide, right? And this is the lead time, right, when it was reported to completion, right? Then we talked about the work in progress. You need to continuously keep on monitoring of your work in progress limit, right, in every regular interval, right? And you need to see in any of the work flow segments, right, if your WIP limit is actually stuck or not, right? Then throughput, right? Throughput is basically the rate of work, right? That means in a specific time frame. Let's say in a day, 3 tickets are getting solved on an average. So basically, 3 tickets are is basically your throughput. Okay. Then another interesting metrics. This is not a matrix actually, rather it is a combination of all the metrics you can see in a single diagram, which is a cumulative flow diagram, which I am depicting in this below picture, right, where you can actually have a pictorial or visualization of how work item are progressing and all the metrics you can actually get to see here. This is your cumulative flow diagram. So this is so if you can maintain all these metrics for your particular project or particular work, I am pretty sure this will be very beneficial. And on top of that, you can also customize few metrics based on your needs. Now let us see some of the key roles, right, of Kanban. Again, when I'll be talking about the key roles, again I'm saying these are the few widely used roles which are collected from different projects, right? But Kanban is not prescripting or giving you suggestion to keep certain roles, okay? But they are giving you certain best practices, but based on your project need or project demand or nature of your project, you can have additional roles, or you can actually subtract few roles, or you can modify certain roles. But at the end of the day, you have to have certain roles defined at the beginning, and you need to give them the proper responsibilities they need to carry forward, and you need to give them the autonomy so that actually drive the entire flow. Okay, now let's see like some of the widely used Kanban roles. One is basically the system Kanban system designer or manager, right? So this role you can consider as the agile coach role also, right? Where the responsibility of this role is basically at the beginning phase to define the entire Kanban system for this particular team, setting up the Kanban board, right? The swim lanes, what will be the stages of workflow, establishing the WIP limit, and that is obviously like I mean whoever is designing, be it the system designer or manager or agile coach, right, whoever is doing this particular job, he or she cannot do it alone, right? It has to be a collaborative exercise along with the team, then different stakeholders, and that person need to understand the nature of the work, right? And based on that, this entire system will be defined at the first place, right? And which will be used going forward by the team, keeping in mind the team's goal, right? So this is the system designer or manager's role. Then comes into picture the team members. Team members are basically the individual who will be actually performing the work on ground, right? They can be developer, they can be the system engineers, they can be the architect, and who are responsible to pick up the particular work item, carry forward throughout the stages of the workflow, and take it to completion, right? Then come into picture the Kanban coach or facilitator. You can consider this role as a Scrum Master role, right? Who is responsible for the who is responsible for the processes, are getting followed properly, right? The swim lanes are properly maintained, and time to time they will keep on motivating or coaching the individuals, right? And they will give the initial guidance, right? How to maintain a Kanban board and all these things. The and also they will give the guidance of, this is the important thing, right? Provide the guidance on optimizing the workflow, right? It is after a certain period of time, we need to like fasten our flow. We need to bring certain optimizations so that we can actually increase our throughput and like decrease our lead time and cycle time, right? So all this guidance and coaching, this particular person will give, and this is more of a Scrum Master or Agile coach kind of role, right? Then comes the product owner or customer. This role is same as Scrum, right? This person is actually the owner of the requirements, like or custodian of the requirement. This person will give all the requirements backlog, right? Which will actually eventually come as a like requirement cards or Kanban cards in the to-do list, and from where team will pick up and start working on this. And then comes the stakeholders. Stakeholders are the individuals or group within within the interest of the project, right? Or who are actually like interested, or who have the direct stake into the project that we are working on. It may include the internal manager or executive or the external customers, leadership team, so and so forth, right? Then quality assurance or reviewers, like these are the person who will actually be doing the quality assurance or QA part, right? Or the tester, you can say, right? Who will actually test the certain work item which developers are developing, and certifying it so that this item actually can move on to the next phase. Now in some project I have seen that these role are can be combined with the Kanban team members, right? Where you have the full stack. There probably you need not to have the team members and quality assurance separately. Again, as I'm saying, right, this is not a prescriptive one. These are the best practices which are getting followed throughout the industries. That is, I'm depicting over here. But at the end of the day, it is very important to note Kanban roles are often fluid. That means you can actually change or dynamically based on your need. But at the end of the day, collaboration and continuous improvement is the main focus, or should be the main focus, and delivering the value should be the goal. And based on that, whatever is required, you need to tweak on the roles and responsibility part. Now, this is interesting, right? If you want to implement a Kanban project or Kanban methodologies for your project, right? So how can you get started? So as I mentioned, you first of all you have to have a like a Kanban system designer or a agile coach, right? Who will establish the entire system, right? They will define the workflow. I think in my previous slide I already talked about this. They need to define the workflow, identify the stages of the work items, right? Based on your nature of your project, right? Then set up the WIP limit, determine the maximum number of work items allowed in each workflow stages, right? Then implement the board, create a physical board, right? Or a digital board. Now we are more like towards remote working model, right? So there are a lot of options, right? Where you can actually set up Kanban board. Actually Jira is also giving, Miro is also giving certain features, right? Where you can have a digital board which will be treated like a physical board, and you can actually visualize your work item throughout the workflow. right? And measure and improve, and this is where you need to define the metrics, right? And the benchmark of your metrics, and you need to start monitoring, and after a certain periodic interval you can actually keep on motivating the team to improve the metrics numbers. So this is how you can actually get started with Kanban methodologies. And on top of this, you can have a like assessment, right? Let's say after every 3 months or after every 6 months you can have the assessment, and based on the assessment outcome, right, you can do further uh, improvement as suggested, right? Now let us see some of the key benefits, right? I think throughout this discussion, like, we already understood, right, what are the benefits of Kanban. First and foremost is basically it increase the visibility. Anyone at any given point of time looking into the Kanban board, right, with be it a physical board or be it a like digital board, that I mean anyone can understand how the work is actually going. If the workflow limit has been reached in particular stage, that means this particular stage is actually stuck. We need to provide certain help there, or this is how our overall lead time, cycle time going. This is where we need to make our improvement. So all these things can be visualized, right? Instead of looking into some 10 pager report, right? Rather than you can visualize in particular board, and this is the most significant benefit of Kanban system. Then Kanban give you the flexibility, right? uh, I mean, first, in two terms, right? Unlike scrums, once the sprint is started, you cannot make much changes into the sprint scope. Even if some priority items are coming, sprint I mean scrum is suggesting not to take that item into that particular sprint. That means you are bound by that particular 2 weeks or 1 week or 3 weeks, whatever your sprint length is. But Kanban allows you to have the flexibility. First flexibility, you can alter your roles, right? I mean, you need not to have certain hard bounded roles, right? If you need certain roles for certain period of time, you can bring that particular roles into picture, and you can get your work done. Then again, if you have certain priority items are coming in, right, and that have, I mean, you have to complete that item, then within your board itself you can actually define a priority lane, and you can actually pull that item through that priority lane, and at that point of time all other lane will be kind of at a halt, or at a whole stage, right? Once that priority item will cross past the lens, then again you will start working. It is similar to, like, let's say you are going into a traffic road and suddenly a ambulance is coming into, right? All of us need to give a little space into the road so that ambulance can pass through. Similar to that, if a certain priorities items are coming, we need to give certain space or bandwidth through the priority lane so that that priority item can be passed through. Then continuous improvement, by focusing on the flow and work limit, team need to continuously identify the improvement areas so that they can be within the WIP limit, and they can improve the flow, right? And that can be measured through the metrics we already talked about. And last but not the least is the customer satisfaction. Delivering work item faster with the huge and higher, faster within the higher quality leads to the improved customer satisfaction, and that is quite obvious, right? When we are talking about the customer satisfaction, that comes through two ways. One is the faster time to market, another is basically the quality, and both can be achieved through the continuous flow of the Kanban system. So this is it. I mean, this is I wanted to have this session as small as possible, right? We can have a 2 hours of lecture session of on Kanban, but I wanted to have a quick small session which will be useful for your project, and so that you can quickly grab and quickly get started with Kanban. So we are almost towards the end of this session. So let us just quickly rewind, right, what we have learned so far, right? Kanban is a powerful methodology for managing work efficiently, improving flow, and fostering continuous improvement. By embracing Kanban principle and metrics, team can enhance collaboration, deliver value faster, and adapt changes within ease, right? So, so far, thank you for your attention. Thanks for watching this video. So, hope this will be useful for your project or your perspective. And I'll be back with another useful session soon. Thank you once again.